Let's get into your trending topics now. Did you just hear our producer say that? So, our executive producer, we're going to call you out, Lebo. She goes, start the clock. Because we're not allowed to spend too much time. Okay, here we go. Quickly, start the clock now. Terrorists.
And this one trending along with Santon and, you know, people talking about that terror alert that was issued by the US Embassy. So that, of course, is a story we carried in news. It's our question of the day. So I'm not going to spend too much time on it because I think we'll get people's reaction to it in our question of the day.
And there was also some things that came out where it was, you know, just saying there's a bit of a worry about where, because it is obviously the Santon area that has been highlighted. And there have been two events that have been sort of spoken about, not officially, but people wondering if it could probably be gay pride. That could be one of them. And then a comedy show is also happening. And this is just something that is a little bit of a worry. So just watch this space. The government not doing anything. Zizi Kodwa is apparently trending along with that and saying, hang on a second, why are we the last to know? And, you know, why did, you know, the likes of Zizi Kodwa not come forward and talk to us? Why do we have to hear these things from the US Embassy and not from our own government agencies? So, you know, this is kind of why Zizi Kodwa is trending. And there's a whole bunch of things here saying, you know, are we really surprised? This is from Sipho Steerman saying, are we really surprised that it takes the US Embassy to warn us? Did anyone think Abu Zizi Kodwa and the gang would pick up any terrorist threats when they failed with KwaZulu-Natal's unrest? So
and I think that is it, and what it does, it speaks to the trust deficit between government and the citizenry. Right, moving on to Tanya Campbell, the now former mayor of Ekurhuleni. She was, of course, ousted in a council sitting yesterday. No surprises there. It was coming. As soon as the DA had drawn a line in the sand on their working relationship with the EFF, I think it was basically just a waiting game. So no surprises. Before we get to Natasha, Tanya Campbell ousted as the mayor of Ekurhuleni.
We talk about Natasha, that's our next trending topic, and she really was the brunt of Twitter yesterday. First it started with some pictures doing the rounds and people asking, what has Natasha done to herself? And then, of course, the trend of Botox came up. So, but we'll plant that one. Yeah. We won't talk too much about that because that
planted.
So park it.
Oh, I thought you said planted.
Sorry, I did say planted.
Are we expecting it to grow?
No, okay. Well, I hope not anymore. No, hopefully no, nothing's going to grow. And then of course, this is when it started getting a little bit more serious. And then Natasha going on and basically talking about EFF voters and saying that you have very uneducated people as voters, as a voting base. And, oh man, as you can imagine, and rightly so, people went crazy and calling her arrogant. How can you say this? Here's just one saying, Natasha Mazzoni is proving to be even worse than Helen Zille. The arrogance of a poorly educated white woman insulting the intelligence and education of EFF members is a sign of her own stupidity and ignorance. She clearly knows nothing about EFF, a bunch of thinkers. And it goes on and on. Just people were not happy with the comment of Natasha Mazzoni saying EFF members are highly uneducated.
And then Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana yesterday delivering the medium-term budget policy statement. And it's essentially about the reaction to what was said, what was not said, what people had hoped he would address that perhaps did not come through. And as you would imagine, the opposition parties expressing their disappointment at items that they would have thought would have made it, or things that they thought the finance minister would address that he perhaps didn't. So this is essentially what that is about. So the mini budget that was presented yesterday, and of course all that goes with it. And Minister Godongwana is our guest in the second hour. Yeah. So we'll be speaking more to him about that. And maybe if you have a question, you can send it through at Morning Live SABC.
Bonang Mohale, also our guest after the break. He's going to be talking from business's perspective as well as you know, ordinary South Africans talking to exactly what they think of the budget. And then finally, SANDF, they're also trending, but it's not funny, but it is, because obviously South Africans take it and make everything funny. SANDF soldiers have seized a massive 223 million rand haul of erectile dysfunction tablets that were being smuggled into South Africa from Mozambique. A cargo truck that was traveling from Mozambique into South Africa through the Lebombo port of entry was intercepted. So that's the story. And then, of course, the memes that followed and, blah, 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 blah. And so we leave it at that. You can just imagine. But that is a big story. And that was the brunt of SANDF being a trending topic.
Right, those are your trending topics this morning.